Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Romil and we are back again on the Insta Live series every Thursday evening. We are both on Crampons and we are here to discuss about a lot of stuff about mountain photography and pretty excited because the whole journey of this mountain photography started some time back wherein we posted an advertisement on Instagram saying that we want someone to capture our story of climbing for Friendship Peak. And here he is, Yatin. So let him join us.
Hi, Yatin.
Hi, Romil. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Excellent. Yeah, so I was telling everyone that how we connected and all.
Yeah.
So,
On the
Yatin,
friendship peak. Yeah.
exactly. So before that, we posted on Instagram because we wanted someone to bring the stories of mountains to everyone because anybody who joins us would not know, what to expect once they would climb Friendship Peak or any other mountain. So that's how we posted on Instagram. Then we reached out to Yatin and we really love the work and we said let's do it. And that's all. But before we start on that journey, we have Yatin and we'll let you introduce yourself. Please let people know who you are, what do you do, what's your background, because I'm intrigued. Someone from Rajasthan getting so much interest into climbing, mountaineering. You know, over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, hi guys, I'm Yatin, and I'm a adventure travel cinematographer. And so basically, mountains kind of happened to me in 2016, and I got a chance, like an opportunity to go on a Himalayan trek, and that was my first high altitude trek, and it was a very easy one. It was Chandrashila Chopta, but those 4 days in the mountains, I was just hooked, and I never knew that like trekking. I got introduced that time, and back in the days, I was learning cinematography in Bangalore. So I was in Bangalore studying there. So of course I'm an engineer, and I got into filmmaking because I was traveling a lot, exploring south of India back in the days, and then I kind of moved into assisting in Telugu films as a AC assistant cinematographer, and but those were like kind of long projects, and I had a lot of energy and a lot of new ideas. So I thought, I need to find a way to go film in the mountains, and it took me a few years, and then things started happening slowly, and I started going more in the mountains. Yeah.
Great. So this is news. You being an engineer. So tell me, how did engineering happen and how did engineering to the switch happen?
Yeah, so what happened was like I was the bright student of the house, and so I was kind of expected, and that the engineering wave was going back in the days when I was going to go to the college. So I got into an engineering college in Bangalore, and then it was the first time I stepped out of Rajasthan for this kind of duration. So it was a culture shock for me, and uh, coming to my background, so my mom and dad used to make us travel a lot when we were like kids, and that kind of like stuck to me. And I was not so much exposed to the culture of south of India, and I was really really intrigued. So me and one of my friends made a pact that no matter what kind of budget we have, but we need to go see new places every month, and that was something that made us explore almost all of south of India, uh, be it on motorcycles or on local travel buses. And we learned a lot, like the tiny travel hacks, or what needs to be done. And we used to do a lot of camping in the jungles, and find new vantage points, find new trails. So like that kind of thing was there to explore and find new places. So that was always there, but it was really difficult since I was kind of based in Bangalore for so long. So coming to the mountains, and since I was not aware how should I begin with a mountain trek. So there was kind of a competition, or like a photo blog competition, and we were trekking in near Yarkard, I remember. So I had made some images of my friends just going in the mountains, and the hills over there. and I just posted that blog post on one of the websites, and I won that, and then the prize was
Wow.
to go on a Himalayan trek. So that's how it happened to me. That's how I got introduced, and yeah, so it was like, and then I was like, with the mountain trekking, I going to the Uttarakhand for the first time in life, and then we took local buses and went to Himachal, did paragliding, and just learned what all adventure is there to offer. And I always knew I want to come back, but
Okay.
then I needed some more agenda with it.
Wonderful. So the prize you got was that Chandrashila Chopra trek.
Yeah,
Was it part of that?
yeah. So
Great.
the prize was to go on the Chandrashila Chopra trek. Yeah, so that's how I got into the mountains. Yeah.
And I remember you just saying that, easy trek or something for your kind of fitness. I'm sure, because we have seen you in various climbs, how you manage all these things is really amazing. And what was next, as far as the climbing is concerned after Chandrashila Chopra? How did you progress after that?
Yeah, so after Chandrashila Chopra, what happened was I, like, that mountain bug, like, kind of was like bit me, and I'm like, now how should what to do next and all these things. But the thing with Bangalore was I had a few friends from college who were into bouldering, and I was not aware what it was exactly back then. But then we used to go on small boulder hikes near Kolar or sometimes near Badami. So I eventually learned that, okay, this is what like climbing is exactly. So we used to just go on small excursions every now and then over the weekends. So that was kind of fun. And then since I was working that time, I was kind of more focused on my filmmaking journey in those days. So for about 2 years, I did not step back into the mountains, to be honest. And then
Okay.
I got an opportunity to work with one of the adventure companies based out of Uttarakhand, and they had put out a post, and I had a I was living a very comfortable life back then. I was like, everything was super sorted, and I was like, is this the time to take a leap? And seriously, when I got that opportunity, I just left Bangalore, packed my bags, came back to Rajasthan, then moved to Rishikesh for a while. So that was that. From there it started again, and so again my first trek was Chandrashila only. Okay, so now I knew what I'm getting into,
Right.
and it was amazing for me. And then back to back I went to a lot of moderate treks. Like I went to Dayara Bugyal, then I went to Gaumukh Tapovan. And Gaumukh Tapovan, it was really different kind of experience for me, because I was going to that Gangotri Valley for the first time. So I never knew that there are like dry areas in Uttarakhand as well. So that was
Right.
really different. And when you reach Tapovan, it's just it leaves you spellbound. So then after that I wanted more. And though all these projects were documenting these treks, being with trek leaders, being with the people of the mountains, and since I was working as a part of the crew, so it was always, you learn these tiny things from these people, especially when you're on the treks, to be minimal, how to survive in the situations, and the rules of the mountain, the basic ones. These people know it so well that I was just fascinated about the stories, or be it like the birds that we used to see, or how to see like a rockfall area, how to evade these areas. So everything was super fascinating for me. So I thought this is the way to go now, and it just, from there, it just like stuck with me.
But then, I've seen you doing a lot of things, be it bike rides, be it snowboarding. So
Yeah.
what all activities have you touched? Just go through that, please.
Yeah. So yeah. So I always was into motorcycle riding. When I didn't even have a motorcycle, I just knew one thing, that I need to go to this place called Khardungla on a
Okay.
motorcycle. That's all I knew back then when I was in school, and I just thought that whenever I will get a chance next, but I could not get that chance. So I got my motorcycle to Bangalore. So we used to do a lot of circuits over there. Tamil Nadu circuit. We used to go to Kerala. Then we used to do a lot of circuits in Karnataka towards North Karnataka, Sayadris. So I was always, a motorcycle rider, and it was those days when there was no decathlon. So,
Right.
we used to do all these hacks for the first time, fail, and then learn from them. So all these things, like how to even protect your bag from rain, because there were no rain covers back then.
Correct.
So all these things, like we used to put, I remember putting garbage bag around my backpack, and then getting these clothesline to kind of like wind it with my bike, and there were a lot of fails. So, but it was a good journey, and a good part of learning. And then I think 2 years back, I always I do skateboarding. I got into skateboarding through one of my friends in Bangalore, and then I always wanted to learn snowboarding. So I went to Kashmir to learn that with one of my friends there, and that experience just changed me, because by that time I was well versed with mountains, but snowboarding is a very painful sport, I would say, because the initial days, the learning curve is like really huge,
Yeah.
and you have to fall a lot, be very patient with your body, and be kind of like be there in the zone, and to fail again and again and again. And that comes with skateboarding as well. So that thing was always there. That if once you find that zen with that sport, then it's a smooth ride from there. And yeah, so I've done like about 2 to 3 seasons now in snowboarding, and then I was recently on a motorcycle trip of about 6,000 kilometers in the mountains, and we were just exploring new trails, camping in almost areas where nobody would camp at, isolated areas, isolated villages, interacting with the villagers, eating their food, and finding water where you could not find water in the drylands of Ladakh.
Right.
So, using all these small things that I learned from the people of the mountains, I was just like experimenting and exploring, and yeah, that's been the kind of journey that I've had till now.
That's crazy because I used to run a lot earlier, and then once I participated in triathlon, I realized, that running itself is so time consuming that I couldn't devote enough time for cycling or for swimming, which were the other parts of triathlon. And then once I started climbing, I find there's no time for, anything else, not even running now. How do you manage so many things, be it, biking, be it photography, be it mountaineering, be it, snowboarding? How do you divide your time into all such things?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good question. I always get this question even with my friends. So it's I feel, first of all, there's like a call that happens to you. And to be honest, I this last year I was on the motorcycle for, so I was in Nepal for about 2 months, be in the mountains for about roughly 40 days, and then I came back to home, and then I was on a motorcycle for 4 months. So I had kind of planned that year, but 2 3 years in advance, that some one year will come where I'm going to do this. So I have
Like
these
this.
tiny little things written down, that this is what I really want to do one day in life, and I find the right moment, the right calling, and I make sure. And then people also matter a lot. When you're with the right kind of people, especially in the outdoors, I feel that you need to have those people around you who kind of motivate you, support you, as well as be a guide for you. So once you kind of interact with these people, or you be with them, and you take these journeys with them, I think things fall in place. I remember, especially this time when I was on the motorcycle trip in Ladakh. I was not planning to take up any projects there, because it was kind of like a self-exploratory trip for me. But I ended up meeting with a bunch of folks who wanted to get a documentation done on Kangyatse too. And yeah, so I left my bike in Leh, and then I went out with them to go climb Kangyatse too, and it was a wonderful experience, I must say. So I just make
Amazing.
sure that I just devote like tiny a little time to all these activities that I really want to pursue, and touch with the things work out somehow.
True, absolutely. Definitely it's working out. But then, how's the reaction of parents? Because you're saying, so much time outside, 4 months, you went ahead. How do your
Uh-huh.
parents react to it? That, once you're back, your dad, your mom, what do they say? Because that's the
Yeah.
first thing.
So initially it was kind of challenging for them to kind of get a grasp of this lifestyle that I'm living, where I might not be in network for a long
Yeah.
duration. And I mean, initially it was difficult for them, but then I used to always tell them that I am doing it carefully, I'm doing it with the right people. As I said, the right people matter a lot. So I haven't kind of I've just ventured out on alone in the mountains just once in Nepal, and I kind of knew that wherever I'm going, I can be tracked back from all these locations. So I make sure that I share these kind of itineraries that I'm doing with family, as well as I give them like tentative dates that okay, I'm going to be back around this time. So, and I feel that I just, there's one thing that I tell them, that no news is good news in the mountains. So
Right.
they've kind of yeah, finally adapted to it. And the first thing whenever I'm leaving, I make sure that I give them a call, share the itinerary. So and now they've evolved with this, because I keep sharing. Whenever I'm back, I share my experiences with them, tell them what I saw. I bring them little things from the culture where I was, and yeah, I share these stories. So I think they've slowly understanding what I do.
Wonderful. Okay, now let's come on to photography part of it. That one is climbing, which is definitely an easier part compared to documenting the whole thing. So, what is the whole process of once you know that you have to document something like a friendship peak or a Kangyatse or something? How is the whole process taking shape in that?
So usually, like when I get a project like this, especially in the outdoors, I from my end, what I do is I just do a small research about where the kind of place I'm going to, especially if there are any experiences that are there on the web, or any kind of videos or any pictures that I could find. I just study the landscape and the terrain. That is the foremost, because you need to understand if the how the trails are going to be. Do I need to walk behind the group? Can I, when I can come parallel to the group, what kind of itinerary is there? How many water points are there? How many hours of trekking are we going to be doing? So because there are so many things, because you mostly on the treks, you don't get power on the go. So,
Right.
and especially when you're on a longer duration treks, you need to kind of conserve your batteries and find the right points where you want to shoot, and get the money shots. So you have to make those choices, and just like do a small recce. So you actually can't do that recce, so you do a prior research to before that. And I think there are a lot of dynamics when it comes to shooting. I mean, you need to have the right gear depending
Right.
on which slope you are going on. If you got support of mules, or you're doing it all alpine style, because if you're doing it alpine style, then you have to carry the entire luggage by yourself, even your camera gear. But
Right.
if you have support of mules, maybe porters, then you can always put some of the stuff with them, and then be more agile with the group or on the slope. So all these small things, you need to make a note of these, and then the packing is very crucial. You need to make the right choices, be it your camera gear, or be it the clothing or equipment that you're going to be using. So based on all these, I make certain choices, and I would say it's not always right. I mean, I keep evolving and learning based on all the experiences that you get on the slopes. But I mean, most of the times you have to adapt to the situations, and then you have to work with what you got. And I think that's how it works in the modern, because it's absolutely guerrilla filmmaking there.
Absolutely. So you tell me, the kind of gears which you carry for a climb, what will be a typical set of cameras or, things which you'll carry once you're going for any 6 to 7 days of climb? Or let's say, give an example of Friendship Peak, 8 days we are doing. So what kind of gears you'll carry? What will be the weight, apart from the ones which you're carrying, your personal clothing, etc.
Right. So, see, my main gear is like I use a full frame Sony camera. That's the body that I use for on every trek, because it's weather resistant, and I've used it in heavy snowfall or in light showers as well. So, and it's kind of worked for me all on in almost all the conditions, even in sub-zero conditions, be it -30, -40. It that I can vouch for that body. And in terms of lenses, I feel that zoom lenses are much more versatile, especially because you don't get a lot of opportunities to change your lenses when you are in the outdoors. Especially there's like you can damage your sensor, or you can get the dust from the elements. So I kind of prefer to carry a zoom lens, maybe two of them, probably like a one with a wider range like 17-28, or and one with a bigger range like 24-105, 18-105. And if I get a chance, I get carry 70-200 as well. But it depends if I, because
Yeah.
that's a heavier lens. So you need to make those kind of choices. Usually I carry these two lenses, and they work great for me because they are light as well. And if you need to take continuous shots using a gimbal or something like that. So I carry the lightest gimbal. I mean, I feel that back in the days it was the lightest gimbal, and it still works really great for me. So I use a Weeble S. It's from Zion, and it's just amazing because I've done these small markings on it, and for me to get on a gimbal shot just hardly takes me 4 to 5 minutes, even when I'm on the slope. So I highly recommend the Zion Weeble S, then a Sony full frame camera, and then any of the zoom lenses that really work well for you. But I make sure that I carry a wide zoom lens, or that has a lower f-stop, especially in the range of f2, 2.8, something like that. Because if you are into astrophotography, because you get to see a lot of stars when you're in the mountain, and especially when there's a new moon or a full moon. And if you can track these things, and if you're on a slope for more than a day or two, if you're on an acclimatizing day, then you can actually just follow the star trails, and do a lot of experiments there. So a lens with a lower f-stop comes in handy there. Then I also recommend to carry one action camera on any of the treks, be it from DJI or from GoPro. And even the 360 cameras that have come these days, they do an absolutely wonderful job. So you can carry any of these action cameras as well along with you. Then I carry a drone as well with me. I use a DJI Air 2S because it's got a longer battery life, and then I carry about like three batteries with me. There are new drones that have come up, especially the new Mini that can shoot in vertical, and then you can charge the batteries via power banks as well. But in the one that I use, the Air 2S, you can't do that actually. So you need to be very thoughtful about when you take out the drone. But the only thing is the Air 2S. What I like about it is it can work in heavy winds as well, even during snowfall or in light showers. So I really like that fact, and it can go beyond the range of 2 kilometers. So it's a good drone, and I think in these days you should absolutely have a good drone with you to capture good images, good aerials. And apart from that, I think any of the accessories that you use with the camera, they should be heavy duty. Be it your sling or anything where you strap your camera, or even your bag where you're putting everything. So I use a Lowepro 450 Tactic, and I've been using it for last 6 years. It's the best bag, best camera bag, especially in the outdoors, and I can highly vouch for it. It just because it's got easy access pockets on the side, and then you can even carry a laptop. You can carry two, three lenses along with a camera, two bodies, a drone, and even a tripod or a gimbal with it. Along with that, I carry a small tripod. So I used to carry bigger tripods, but I feel that usually the tripods come in handy since you're on the move almost the entire day. They come
Yeah.
in handy when you're at the camps, and if you're carrying a bigger tripod with you, you have to carry it the entire day, and it really takes a toll on your body. So
Exactly.
I have invested in a small, very lightweight tripod that works both with my action camera as well as my main camera body, and it just works really well. I do not know the brand of it. I recently bought it. I think it's I bought it from Chandni Chowk, and I absolutely love it. I think you can find it anywhere in Chandni Chowk. And yeah, apart from that, I carry a lot of spare batteries, a lot of memory cards, and a lot of power banks with me. I make sure that I'm carrying at least 40 to 50,000 mAh along with me, because I have to charge my phone, then I have to charge my camera batteries, then my gimbal batteries, or sometimes if I get a chance, we can charge drone batteries as well. But make sure that you have enough power bank, because especially in the winter treks, or if you're going in a colder region, the battery levels just drop drastically. So even if you're carrying everything on full charge, they will definitely drop. And yeah, that happens. So these are the things that I carry. Then I carry an ND filter, because especially when you're shooting in a harsh sun on a summer trek maybe. So if you want to expose well, just carry ND filters along with you. So this is the main things that I carry in my bag. Lots of memory cards, lots of power, and something to protect your gear from rain. If it rains heavily,
Right.
you need to have a good rain cover and a lot of ziplocs. Yeah, that's about it. It weighs roughly between 10 to 12 kgs. I make sure that if I get a chance, I remove things out of it. So I tend to make it between 8 to 10 kgs as well at times. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, because I was saying, the kind of clothing which you wear for the climbs, you keep it only to the minimal. And these things, as such, take a lot of weight. So that was one thing I really appreciated once I saw you on the climbs.
Right.
Tell
Yeah.
me, for a layman, like, climbers and all, how do they protect the batteries? Because I've seen for my Everest, once we were going, I had 2 or 3 GoPro cameras, mobile phones, everything, lost the charge. So how do you sustain the battery for a longer duration once you are in cold altitudes? So that if you can tell us something about.
Yeah, so there are like a lot of small hacks that can be used, especially when you're in the tents or in the camping area. So the first thing is, you should never expose your batteries to the elements. Like, you should never keep them open. Keep your bag closed. And I keep carry these woolen socks with me, in which I just stuff my batteries in them, and then I
Yeah.
use insulated packs, or I've used warmies as well once in Chadar, but they
Yeah.
did not work out well for me. But yeah, I mean, I think woolen caps and socks, they work well.
Right.
And if you really want to kind of sometimes batteries just drop dead. So if you need to
Yes.
like revive them, if you have a kitchen tent or a stove near you, or
Right.
some place that is warm enough, then you should always go there and put your batteries in charge there, and from there you can switch it back to your tent once they are kind of revived. So I think these and when you're sleeping, yes, I make sure that I carry sleep with my batteries if it's like really cold, and if I'm running out of batteries, so I just put the batteries in a bag or a socks or a cap, and then I just like sleep with them, and the heat as well as uh, the sleeping bag, it just works out for me.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. So this is again new, because once we were climbing, I also realized, night I had slept with 70-80% of the phone battery charging, and then by the time I woke up, it was 5% or something, and I thought it's gone. But then someone who was more experienced during that climb mentioned that if you keep it warm for some time, it will again gain that charge. So again, it went to 50% or 60%, which was kind of surprising. I wasn't aware. So this came as a news to me.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So apart from that, tell me, once climbing, how do you pick up the stories from various people? Because that's again a very important element. That how do you prepare that we'll make capture a story from this person, and how do you make the complete storyboarding during the climb?
Yeah. So during the climb, since I said, the dynamics, there are a lot of dynamics. So it can either be the mountain, it can either be the change in the weather, it can either be something that happens on the slope. These are things that can that you can't predict. But then the
Correct.
things that you can work with is the group dynamic. You know, you get to learn the people you're with on the slope, and parallelly you learn them. You know, they're like all individual characters, and that's what we learned in filmmaking as well. As a student, when I was there, you know, we used to kind of we used to do these small exercises from the films, as well as when we were shooting in the outdoors. So you know, you learn from the people, you learn from the character, and you know, so there are always stories, you know, kind of hidden here and there, and you just need to slightly touch up on them, work on them, and then you find your heroes in the film, and it always works out. There's something or the other. It's sometimes the mountain as well. It's sometimes it
Yeah.
is just so beautiful that you know you don't need anything else. If you get the right shots, if the weather is right, and you know if they're in its all glory, then it's just absolutely amazing.
Great. So, the way you said, right shots, right places. What do you think, as a cinematographer is the biggest challenge once you're climbing mountains, apart from the nature challenge, or there's so many other variables which as such are there. What you've
Mhm.
experienced as the biggest challenge while you've been, recording all such stuff over there?
See, the biggest challenge is I feel that you know it comes down to a point where you know how I am feeling in on the day in the mountain, because you know
Yeah.
every day is different in the mountain, and you know you need to be really humble on the slopes. That's what I've learned. So I make sure that I'm taking good care of myself first,
Yeah.
and if I'm feeling good enough, then I have the best days in the mountains. That's what I feel, and I do the best work in the mountains. So that is the foremost thing that I take care of, that taking care of myself first. So once I'm done with that, then you know there are like tiny little challenges, like you know you have to be ahead as well as behind the group almost all the time on the treks, because you know you want to capture from all the directions, and that's for that you need to be like really fit, because you know if you're doing, let's say, 10 kilometers a day, like the group is doing 10 kilometers a day, you are not, as a cinematographer, you won't be doing 10 kilometers a day, you would be doing at least 14 kilometers, because you will be going back, coming down,
True.
and you'll be when the group will be at the resting points, you would not be resting, you will be finding spots, you will be going ahead of them. So these are small challenges, but they are not that bad. The biggest ones are like when things go down in the mountains, you know, when you really need to adapt, when you see that, you know, like things are going not according to what they should be going. And that's when the true stories come out. That's when you see people in the elements. And, you know, I feel it is challenging, but those are the times when you feel that, you know, okay, this is what I have come for. Or you ask yourself that, okay,
Exactly.
what am I doing here? So, but yeah, if you overcome those things, I think it's just an amazing ride from there.
Great. That lets me recollect. I was speaking to another company yesterday about collaborations and all, and they said, you could promote our product while you're on big climbs. And I was telling them that, once you're on big climbs like, 7,000, 8,000 meters, and if anything, let's say somebody's not
Somebody's
feeling
not
well
feeling well,
or something like
or
that is
something
happening,
like that is happening.
some echo.
Some echo.
I think, can you also
Can
hear
you
echo?
also hear echo,
Or is it
or is
normal?
it normal?
No, it's okay for me.
It's okay, huh? Right.
It's okay, huh?
Then
Right?
it's fine.
Then it's fine.
So
So
the company
the
was saying
company
you
was
should
saying
be
you should
taking
be
stories
taking
of
stories of
people. For
people. For
example, if
example,
somebody's
if
having
somebody's having
severe headache,
severe headache, so
so as a
as
team
a
member,
team
your
member, your
responsibility is to take
responsibility is
care
to
of the
take care of the
members
members
Correct.
rather than
rather than
capturing or making
capturing or
stories
making
like that.
stories like that.
So how do
So how
you
do you
handle that?
handle that?
See, I think what goes down on the mountains, you know, I mean, if you know, it depends. See, I'll tell you, I'll share one experience with you. So I was in Ladakh in 2020 January, and we were doing the Chadar trek, and we got stranded there. Like we were absolutely stranded. Like the Chadar broke from both the ends, and we had no way to go. So we had to do an emergency camping, like a survival camp. We had put there, and then we waited for the chadar to get healed up. And in the meanwhile, a lot of people were developing frostbites over there.
Right.
And even myself, I was developing a frostbite, and we had no contact with any of the authorities over there. And for 3-4 days, we were just surviving on the rations that we had, and bare minimals, absolutely bare minimals. So over there, I made sure that as a part of the crew member, I took care of people whom I could. I shared all my warmies with people. Whatever I knew as a mountaineer back then, I made sure that I did. But it depends, because I feel that back then we had a strong team of crew who were much more experienced than me. So they made sure that to take care of those people, and I made sure that even in these hard times, I should capture these stories of the people, how they are feeling, because I remember there were people who were like, I need to go back to office on Monday, but it's Sunday today. So like the mindset had completely shifted, and it's all along with the physical game. There's a lot of mental game there as well. So people are kind of struggling in both the ways. So I make sure that whatever skills or knowledge I have to take care of that person, be it mentally or physically, or provide support to them, I do that, and I make sure that the part of the team that I'm with, they're even aware of the same. Apart from that, I feel that if you have a chance, if you have the right gear, then these stories should come out, because they kind of make sure that the people who are going to those kind of treks or these expeditions or these kind of adventures, they're aware that these kind of things can happen as well. When things go bad or things go wrong or things don't go according to your plan. So this is how you might feel, or this is how you might come out of it. So if those things are not captured, then they will not understand the seriousness of those elements that are there in the mountains.
True that.
True that.
Again, echo.
Again, echo.
Any other
Any
incident
other
which you want to
incident
share?
which you want to share?
So I think recently what happened on the winter UT climb that we were on. Yeah, so that was kind of something. I'm not sure if you remember, but I was like a zombie after we came back to the camp. So for everyone who's viewing this, so we were recently on a winter expedition to UT Kangri in Ladakh. It's a 6,000 meter trekkable peak. It was one of the kind of expedition that we were doing there in the peak winters, and it was a speed climbing, alpine style climbing, and a group of like well-versed mountaineers were there. Even the crew was well-versed, like the top of the game people. And my job was to document the experience, and we were like about 100 meters, 100 to 150 meters away from the summit, and everyone was in the rope, separate ropes, group of 5 or 4, and we were actually on the ridge line, and the mountain broke. Uh, like we saw it like I would say 15-20 meters away from us. It just like went. It That was the first avalanche that I saw for real, and it just like the entire slab just like left. And trust me, when that happens, I think or I mean it kind of frees you, because Romel, that I've done just basic mountaineering course, but they make sure that they tell you what needs to be done during an avalanche situation. So the only thing that I remember was just to unhook my from my harness, and that's what I did. I unhooked from the rope, and I just like stood, and I was like, oh, it's real. Like, yeah, I mean, it just happened. And I, I was like lost in words what we all saw there. Because I remember I was in the lead party, and Bharat was in front of me, and then he just said that, guys, we need to go down, ASAP, ASAP. And because half of the slope was still left to be broken away, and we just like everyone just rushed back to the Crampon point, and then we saw the mountain from a distance, and we were like, man, we were lucky. And even the one of the leading guides, he came and he's like, I don't know if I should say we are lucky or unlucky, but unlucky because we couldn't summit, but lucky because we just escaped. And that was something
Absolutely.
surreal. Absolutely. And that's something, when we were capturing all these things over there, and I was seeing the reaction, the emotions, and and the little things that were coming out, even the images, and even how people were reacting to it, even my reaction, I feel it was something. So uh, yeah, that it still amazes you when you're back in the slopes, and you get to meet, because you can't expect sometimes. So
Absolutely.
it's a very fresh thing. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, Yatin, what would be a dream project for you?
A dream project. I think I'm looking for something like more technical climbs, and more of traverse like climbs where we are exploring pass to pass, maybe going in isolated valleys, and going with people who are going there for the first time themselves, and doing it alpine style, and capturing that experience, especially I'm so fascinated about the Great Himalayan Trail that is there in the Trans Himalayas and Nepal. I got to know about it very recently, and someday, yeah, I plan to go there. Yeah, that's the dream.
Nice, nice,
Nice,
great.
nice, great.
Okay, there's some
Okay,
echo,
there's
so
some
I'll
echo, so
let you
I'll
only
let you
handle.
only handle. Mhm.
Okay, tell me,
Okay, tell me,
anybody
anybody
who wants to
who
start,
wants to
how should
start,
they
how
go
should
ahead?
they go ahead? To get into outdoor filmmaking?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. See, to get into outdoor filmmaking, initially, I think it's a very gradual process. I would feel. I think the person who would want to go into outdoor filmmaking should know basics of filmmaking first, or photography first. I think that's one thing that they should always know about. Apart from that, I think it's a gradual process in the mountains. You should not feel very overconfident about yourself if you've done a lot of treks or a lot of expeditions or anything like that. But I feel somebody who's getting into it would not have done those things. So I think they should start gradually. And even what I am thankful about the people whom I worked with initially, when I got into this outdoor filmmaking job, was they made me start small. They made me go to the slopes which were at a range of 12 to 13,000. Then I eventually went up to 15,000. Then I went up to 16,000, 18,000, 20,000. So I it's something. And because if you just go for something that you feel that it's adventurous enough and I should be the one capturing it, then that should not be the way to go about it, because you need to know the elements of the mountains, because when things go down you need to be ready for it, be it learning about mountain equipment, be it walking in the mountains, or be it climbing in the mountains, or kind of predicting the weather, reading the weather, reading the trails, or having the basic knowledge of mountaineering is also very important, I feel. So these and you need to have prior experience. And the foremost thing that I feel, that the absolute essential is, you need to spend some time with the people of the mountains, because from those people you would learn so many things that I feel that I learned the hacks from them, like simple things. And I still appreciate them. If I don't remember them, but when I'm there back in the slopes, it just comes back to me, because you won't leave them. They're the thing that keep you sane and alive, and you can survive in the most intense situations if you learn those, if you know those your basics there. And apart from that, I feel that you should keep experimenting in the outdoors, like take some of your gear, be physically fit, go in the mountains, and kind of experience, because I still feel that I'm still learning, and every mountaineer I come across, everyone tells me the same thing. Even I'm still learning. So I'm like, okay, even you're learning, I'm learning, so it's a good match then. So yeah, so I feel there's so many things that go around it. So it's a very gradual pace of being an outdoor filmmaker. And foremost is you have to carry small things like, especially after coming back from the course and being in these situations that I told you about. I make sure that I have a small rope coil with me, that if I in case, or and a small and a carabiner with me, if in case I'm somewhere, then I should know how to make a harness for myself so that I could be like belayed from somebody or something like that. So you have to learn these small things, and once you're there, then you can kind of increase your level. And I feel that even that's what I'm doing as well, in my journey, that gradually and slowly I'm learning things on the go and increasing my level.
Great.
Great.
Any exciting
Any
projects down the
exciting
line?
projects down the line?
Yeah, so I have a personal project that I really want to work on, and I've been working on it. I would not say filmmaking wise, but skill wise, I've been working on it. I really want to make something about the winter sports in India, because I feel that they're very underrated. And I met a lot of athletes from Kashmir, or be it Himachal, and or be it Uttarakhand. So I met so many people from there, and I want to kind of showcase their journey, how they operate as an athlete in those 2 or 3 months, and what all things revolve around it. So for me to understand that, I need to learn their sport. So I've been working on that to learn that, so I know the pain points of it. So I'm just working on those things. So it's been my pet project since last 2 3 years, and I've given my some, I would say, 2 years, like some of my months into that. And I'm in touch with so many people like that, and I understand. These guys are amazing. Once you really connect with somebody in the mountain, even if you don't meet them for years, you are still just you are connected with them somehow. So I feel that there's a strong bond that you form in the mountains, be it for a day or for years. And I really want to make something around the winter sport. That's why. So I probably in Kashmir, maybe in the coming years, I'll be doing that. And I'm planning to do some of the peaks in Himachal, probably Hanuman Tiba, and I want to do some peaks in Ladakh as well, because I have been to Kangyat Setu twice now. I've summited that peak twice now, and I always see the ridge line from KY2 to KY1, and then I see a group climbing to KY1. So I am so intrigued by that peak now that I need to go there. And probably if I do that, then maybe I'm going to move to a 7,000 door.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, tell me, what
Tell
kind
me,
of mental
what kind of
preparation
mental
goes behind
preparation
all this?
goes behind all this?
Physical or
Physical or
scare?
scare?
Mental.
Mental.
So mentally, see, I would not boast or anything like that, but I feel that I just like thrive in the outdoors. Like it's my first calling. So I did not know, but when I go back to the mountains, and the fresh air helps. It keeps you sane. There's no distraction over there. There's no phone call. There's no network. So if you're on the job, you're on the job, or if you're just there to be there, to learn small things, like you can even watch a river for hours, watch stars for hours, and I think it's very meditative to be there on the slopes and just observe the small activities, sheep herders, and how they're doing things, what they're doing, what they're carrying, and how they invite you, what they offer. And there's so many stories that they're going on, like somebody's horse just runs away and they're bringing it back. And one day I was invited in a cave in Chadar Trek, and that day I learned that I need to put my cup upside down, otherwise they'll keep refilling the white tea that we were having. So all these things are there to keep you occupied. So I feel that mentally, if you are feeling fine, then physically, then I think mentally you just need to be strong and just be there in the moment. And I think it just boils down to looking forward to each and every day that's ahead of you.
Great, Yatin.
Great,
Great
Adil.
answer.
Great answer.
It's just that
It's
the
just that the
sound
sound
a bit.
a bit.
Okay.
Last comments
Last
before we
comments
close
before we
down.
close down.
Okay, so yeah, last comments would be like I am still on my journey as a outdoor filmmaker, as a as a mountaineer as well. And there are a lot of one of the person whom I want to really work on the documentary is watching the video now. So I so want to be working with these guys in the long run, be it with you or the people from the mountains or any of the people whom I connect with, especially on the slopes. And I hope to see more adventurers, more travel filmmakers coming out, especially in the mountains, and collaborating together. I'm hoping to do more collaborative projects with more cinematographers to kind of expand the things that can be done as a outdoor and travel filmmaker. Yeah, that's the plan.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot for your
Thanks a
time.
lot for your time.
Big
Thanks a lot,
learning.
Romil.
Big learning.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye, man.
Cheers.
All the
Bye,
best.
man. All the best.